Hi everyone, here's part 2. I might be jumping all around in these videos, so just bear with me. So when I was diagnosed, I had a double mastectomy, and basically that means that all of your breast tissue is removed, your nipples are removed, you are left with no sensation, and if you are considering reconstruction, if you are doing reconstruction, what they do is they place temporary expanders in your chest so that it gets your skin ready for the implants when those are finally exchanged and placed in. So the expanders, that process it's awful. There's no other word for it. I endured this process because I was told, okay, it's just temporary. You're only going to have them for a short time, and then once your implants are in, it's going to feel a lot better. It's going to feel different. So the expanders were what I would call like robot boobs. They were super hard, and basically I would have to go to the doctors every week, and they would inject, I think it was like saline or something that would gradually help stretch the skin. So it was an uncomfortable procedure. It wasn't awful, but it was just one of those things you have to go through on a weekly basis. And, the skin would get stretched, and you would have these, like I call them robot boobs, and I would at times, knock into people, knock my children over. They were smaller at the time. So super uncomfortable. That was, a period of time I had to go through that. And then eventually when the skin was stretched far enough, then I had to go under anesthesia and have my implants placed. So that was another surgery, having to go under anesthesia, go to the hospital, put the implants in. And the first set of implants I had were far too big for me. And, I somehow listened to my doctor because he told me that they would look good and they would be in proportion to the rest of my body, because I was always rather small chested. Even though I have kind of broad shoulders and wide hips, I was always very small on top. But he said, you know what, this is going to balance you out more. You're going to look kind of more uniform, whatever. So, again, stupidly, I wasn't thinking, not that I ever really had aspirations to have really big breasts, but I didn't think, oh, they're going to be uncomfortable. Well, it turns out I just felt like I looked like a freak when I had these. They just weren't me. They were super uncomfortable. I couldn't lay on my side. Again, when you don't have any breast tissue, this is basically like you have something strapped to your chest all the time. It's almost like wearing maybe like 10 bras and having like a bomb strapped to your chest all the time. You try to do physical activity, exercise, things like that. We're never comfortable, never the same. And, basically they just provided aesthetics to the rest of the world that I looked normal and I was back to normal. So didn't love those. Eventually had those swapped out a year later to a size smaller. Those were still too big. So I'm going to continue this series, but I just wanted to give you sort of a little intro to what it's like having breast implants. It's very different for a woman who's had breast cancer and has breast implants, as opposed to someone who just gets an augmentation and has her own breast tissue and gets implants to just make herself bigger. At least that woman still has her nipples. She still has sensation, Whereas with the woman with the double mastectomy or a single mastectomy who loses that breast tissue, doesn't have the sensation, and they're also very cold when you touch them. It's it's pretty freaky. So as you can see, I no longer have them, and I'll get into that a little bit further. I don't miss them, but I wanted to just kind of give you a little intro on what it was like having breast implants. Have a great day.